Hey y'all, back with some more user feedback from Etheria Restart Discord. Um, Before we get into that though, it'd really help if you could hit the like and subscribe buttons. Remember to hit the bell and select all to get notifications on the newest Etheria Restart info and guides. Now let's go ahead and dig into the video. So I got a couple of threads here that caught my eye. They're pretty interesting. Um, the first one is it's not a single thread for this one. Like this one is spread out across multiple threads. Um, there's actually a serious call being made for being able to prioritize skills in autoplay. This is something that I can actually get behind and like really agree with because sometimes when you set autoplay and the the AI in the game just it decides to use skills the way it decides to use them, and it might not always fit the current boss that you're on or the current situation that you're in. So I can totally agree with being able to set that. That's actually a really good idea to push out there, and I believe it's something that they probably are going to put in, or heck, it might even be in there already by the time this thing goes live. There's really no telling, but I think it'd be a good idea to have that. I don't see any downside to being able to prioritize your skills on auto. I think that's a great thing to bring up. So, to everybody who's bringing that up in the feedback channel, like kudos to you. Y'all are doing great pushing this kind of stuff because that's something that could help out everybody. There's also some concern about PvE content being too short. It's basically from Thenia's thread. It's still going strong. It's already up to 730 comments. I've seen a couple comments in there that aren't related to Ethereum restart, but that's just kind of the way Discord goes, anyways. Um, I'm also not seeing anything from the devs in regards to how they feel about the content being too short or anything like that. So that ought to be interesting to see. I'm relatively sure they're going to release more content when this goes live. Like what we're playing was a beta. I don't think it's all that they had. I think they've got some other stuff that they're just kind of keeping behind closed doors for now. At least that's what I'm hoping. Um, let's see. There's also an interesting request being made to be able to parse skill damage for min maxers, for theory crafters, for anybody who's trying to customize their team loadout. That's not a bad idea. And the way that it was clarified in the thread is that it's more of like what individual skills, like what damage those individual skills are doing, how much damage they're doing, and to break that out, I think that would be really great. But then again, like I like theory crafting. I like really getting into the weeds with the way that my team is built and the damage that each unit is doing and being able to really set up my team loadout based off of like what the damage is that's being done per skill, like even knowing like what kind of damage the dots are doing rather than like just looking at the numbers but being able to break it out like this is a percentage of the damage here. I think that like that's going to be a really cool thing to do if they can add that. So who knows? I mean, it's definitely a really cool request. uh I know that like a lot of games have damage broken down by unit but not necessarily by the skill of that unit, so that would be something that'd be pretty unique. uh Another big thread that's going on is actually uh I guess you could consider some concern with the effect accuracy and effect resist. So there's several threads that are out there right now that are talking about this. Um, the concern is that effect resist isn't even worthwhile compared to like effect accuracy, and that like you have to have so much effect resist to be able to nullify effect accuracy and effects being put onto your characters. Um, I didn't notice anything related to that um when I was playing, so I'm not really sure like how I'm not really sure how big of a deal this is. But then again, like I didn't get to upper echelons of PvP or anything like that to be able to test that. So like I could just be speaking out of ignorance here, uh, but I'm just being real. Like I didn't notice any issues with effect accuracy or effect resist. Um, there's a bit of information that was provided by Pridewin because they did some testing into this, and basically what they say is I'll just read it word for word. Here's how debuffs work. They use concepts we call internally floor and ceiling. That's interesting. Uh, the base chance of the effect is taken for Leon's for Leon's still it's 80%. To find the floor, you half it. So she has a 40% chance base to steal the turn meter. Let's see. Even if the enemy has 1 million effect resist. Oh, wow. Okay. So it won't go any lower than 40%. To find the ceiling, you double the base chance, but there's a limit of 90% since there's always 10% chance to fail. Oh, oh, okay. Now, how does this affect accuracy? How does affect accuracy work into this? It slides you between the floor and the ceiling. So if Leanne, so for Leanne, it's between that 40 and 90%. The effect resistance in turn reduces the chance. Not a simple add or remove based off of what we've tested. There's a formula for this, and we're testing it now to find it. What if uh, what we're sure of is that the lower the base chance, the more effect accuracy you need to reach the ceiling. So it looks like you can't even get a debuff or an effect to reach 100%, which I find that to be really interesting. And then, the whole floor issue. I guess that means that there's always a chance to be hit by a debuff, and there's always a chance to miss or fail. So that's actually pretty interesting to me. Um, hmm. I mean, I guess if they've done the research on it to that degree, like maybe there's not a need for the concern on all that. But I guess that's something that we'll just have to hear more about because I do find that really interesting. And the fact that Pridewin went through all that testing to figure all that out is kind of amazing. So kudos to them. Now, as for the main issue of today's video, there's actually a thread that caught my interest. It's actually shared on the screen right now. It's the missing hype factor, which I mean I find this to be relatively concerning as well because like as far as Etheria restart goes, naturally I didn't see anything about it. Um, what when I remember seeing anything about it was after I started actively searching for it, just like this user. So like I'd never seen any ads for it. I've never seen anything pop up. The whole reason why I found out about it was through other content creators. So like, you know, is there missing hype? Is information getting out to people aside from those who've already found it? Like that is kind of concerning. Uh Considering that like it's a this is a niche of a niche. So like you got the fact that it's a gotcha, but also the fact that it's a turn-based strategy gotcha. Like that really puts it in its own little small world, and getting information out there about it, I think that'd be really great. Now, as far as the channel for Ethereum Restart goes on the Twitter, um, they're spamming stuff almost on the daily. They're spamming updates on characters, updates on bosses. So like they're getting it out from their Twitter, but like if you're not following that, I don't know how you're seeing it or not. Because I'm following them. I have notifications for them turned on, so I see things when they come in. If you don't have that turned on, I don't know how you're seeing any info on Etheria restart. I haven't even seen any ads for it, so I'm definitely concerned from the standpoint of like, are they getting the word out that this game is going to be kicking on in like 7 days? Now, as far as this thread goes, I'll just go ahead and read it. It's a pretty decent thread from Legat, uh, and I really appreciate them bringing this up because I do think that it's important. So basically, what they're saying is that their restart is unlike any gotcha they've ever played when it comes to in-game gameplay experience versus how the game looks on the videos. They say it plays much better than it looks, which honestly, I agree to that. I really do. It plays extremely smooth compared to other games that I'm used to. Um, it also looks really good. Like they've got great looking style, they've got great looking characters, and their characters are like varied. None of them really look the same. They all have something unique to them, and that's something to really kind of put out there. It's definitely unique. They're basically saying that the gameplay is the best out there by a long shot. Um, I mean, as far as turn-based RPG goes, yeah, their gameplay is pretty good. I mean, it's not on the same level as like something like Expedition 33 or a reactive type of RPG or anything like that. But like as far as other gotchas that are strategic, team based, turn based games, um, I could agree with that. So they said gameplay is engaging. It is. There is a lot of strategy behind it, and it is fun to min max. Um, and then they go on to talk about like what's missing from the hype factor. And I mean, what they're saying here is pretty true. Like the game doesn't have a 50-50 system. There is no weapon banner. There's no unlimited stamina refreshing. Like these are all really good things that are really good selling points that they could get out there and win people over who are tired of dealing with 50-50s, or tired of dealing with weapon banners. The unlimited stamina refresh thing that doesn't really bother me, but like 50-50s, they just feel bad, and it's like weapon banners, they feel bad too. Um, I guess I've gotten used to like not having to deal with that for a while. Um, but recently I had my own experience with 50-50s and weapon banners. It wasn't negative. It wasn't super horrible, but at the same time, uh, it just doesn't feel good to lose that 50-50. Like it feels way too much like gambling, and I know that's probably the wrong thing to say when it comes down to gotcha games, because that's what gotcha games are all about, is the gambling. Um, but when you want something, like I think it's nice to just be able to spend for what you want and not spend and hope and pray that you get what you want. Then again, who knows? I'm a pretty unlucky person when it comes down to gambling, so I just could be biased here. Like I really could. And if you think I'm biased, hey, drop it in the comments. Let me know, because I could just be on the wrong side of this argument, but I just feel like that's a huge selling point to me, is that I don't have to worry about a 50-50 with the game. I don't. Like what I want, I can roll for, and when I hit pity for it, I'm getting it. So I'm perfectly fine with that. Now, they go on to talk about like what can the devs do to capture this? And I mean, like let's just hear it from them. My only guess so far is they don't have the same high budget character trailers like WUA, HSR, etc. Even if I don't like the game, I still watch the trailers and they get me hyped for the characters in a game I don't even play. So I can agree with that. But here's the thing, like they do have trailers, well, kind of trailers, like they're gameplay trailers for these characters. And I think that I don't think it has to be high budget. You know, like what they have and the gameplay that they have, and like they have enough to make decent trailers to put out there in some kind of ad format to bring people in. So I don't necessarily think that they can't do what Wu was doing, what HSR is doing. Now I know Wu goes really hard on some of their trailers, and like hey, it's got me playing it. So what can I say? HSR, I haven't really seen much about HSR, so I can't really speak to that. Uh, I've seen gameplay. I haven't seen character trailers or anything like that. So like I can't speak to that. Same thing with games like Zenless Zone Zero. I haven't seen how they're putting their characters out there, how they're putting ads out there. Like I haven't seen any of that. So and it might just be because I'm so far removed from those games that I've never seen that. Maybe they're doing a heck of a job and they're really putting out good ads, but I haven't seen it. Um, but I can say I have seen trailers for Wua, and they're pretty freaking awesome. I don't expect this game to go that far though, and they don't need to go that far. What they do need to do is get their name out there and kind of do a campaign push. And I know we've got about 7 days before we hit go live, and I'm kind of hoping that they start to ramp that up because I think if they do, there's no way that this game can't capture some of the market. Like it has a lot going for it that other games don't. So I don't know. At this point in time, all I can really say is, hey, have faith in what the devs are doing. Right now, we're not hearing much from them. I hope that means they've just got their heads down and they're putting in work. But who knows? We'll see in about 7 days. And in between that time, I'm still gonna be here doing this, going through the Discord, any kind of cool feedback ideas that I see from other people, I'm definitely going to be bringing it to everybody's attention because I feel like the good ideas they need to get out there, and I don't mind bringing this to other people's attention because I really like this game. I want to see this game succeed, and a lot of these players like they're giving honest feedback and really good ideas, and to get those out there or to not get them out there would be a crime. So like I would much rather get this info to anybody who's willing to listen and see if it makes some change, see if it hits the right ears. Like I'm not going to play myself up, but at the same time, if nobody's shouting, then nobody's getting heard. And on that note, I'm out of here. So peace.